1 year ago, Baltimore was still smoldering.
Panna North was the cradle of the Baltimore riots. And since the anniversary last week, many have been asking, well, what's changed for that neighborhood? Well, there is one visible change. The army of bright orange shirts patrolling the neighborhood each and every night.
Safe Streets opened a new chapter in Sandtown less than 2 months ago. And our own Brian Kubler was granted rare access to show how this group of reformed men is using their past to change this area's future.
At St. Peter Claver Church in West Baltimore, in its repurposed convent,
we were going on team canvas.
Gather a group of repurposed men, focused now on a singular vow: stop shooting, start living.
When I'm out there, I'm in charge, but y'all is the street team.
This is the newest chapter of Safe Streets Baltimore, a city health department program employing reformed men from the very streets they once ruled, using the sins of their past to convince the corners of today. Once feared, now respected, using both to interrupt violence and teach opportunity.
You will see shortly, very respected in the community. We're not going to go anywhere where nobody don't know what we did. They were not only chosen because of what they had done, they were also chosen because of what they were still doing.
Greg Marshburn supervises 7 violence interrupters here in Safe Streets Sandtown, the most of any of the now 5 chapters around Baltimore. It is heavier lifting here. This is 21217, Freddie Gray's Baltimore. Safe Streets Sandtown launched in March, in part with federal grant money received after the riots of last year.
So we can do that. We're going to go down and we're going to come around and then back down.
1 week before the anniversary of the Baltimore riots, we were granted rare access to document the group's nightly canvass. Still only a month into existence, the canvasses are to see, be seen, and mediate in a neighborhood still charred from the white-hot anger of last year.
Pre-unrest and post-unrest, I think the primary causes are the same. I think the only thing that the unrest showed us is that people were fed up at that particular time period. But I think people will still have those same concerns that led to that. In terms of the poverty, the impoverishment, the lack of resources coming into the community, is those types of things that played a part into that. And that still exists.
Abject poverty is visible on just about every street in Police Post 731, Safe Streets borders here on the west side. Violence here is also a stubborn symptom. From January through April 28th, there have already been 6 shootings and 3 homicides, well outpacing even the last 2 years to date. The issues in this small corner of Baltimore are persistent, but some change is visible, as noticeable as the bright orange shirts walking down Pennsylvania Avenue.
I've been hearing real good stuff about you.
Man, I'm blessed to have this program.
No, real blessed. Real blessed. Hang in there. Don't let go. Get some crazy glue and stick it on your backside and in your hands. And let God carry you as far as He's going to carry you. You got a long way to take you.
Thanks, man.
So each one of these guys, in their own right, can go in specific areas of this 21217. And they can connect. And it's that connection that we need that allow us to do the work that we have to do to keep our violence down.
In just more than a month's time, Safe Streets Sandtown has already conducted 18 mediations. They track them by computer now, multiple data points, which gives the health department more information to evaluate this unique program. But the most important of which still remains the likelihood of violence if not for a Safe Streets mediation. Sandtown's 18 cases
since we started,
and all went in the system as very likely to have resulted in a shooting.
You know, this is one of the places where I did some of the things that I did. You know, so now I'm back trying to get back.
Lamont Medley pulled his trigger in 1997. He served his time and is now serving his conscience.
If you want, come with him. 1526. Come with him.
Out here every night, convincing others of another way, replacing their need with resources. GED classes, jobs, the tools for the right path.
The kids coming up tend to respect the guys that have been through those challenges, you know, because that's where they get it from. That's where they get it from. So when they see us changing our lives, they say, wow, you know, we can't go that route. Because if this person changed his life and he don't want to do this, then why should I want to do that?
Right.
Talk to him about it.
It's a message that in just a month's time, some here say is already resonating in, around, and straight through Freddie Gray's Gilmore homes.
I'm glad it's around. Wish it could have been around a couple years back. Maybe a lot of stuff that happened wouldn't have happened, but they definitely good for the community. I support them 100%.
That's important. Like you've seen a difference in the last month or so.
Last 30 days at least. Definitely seen a big difference.
The alternative is marked all along the way with Mylar balloons and teddy bears, makeshift memories of those killed on these very same streets. None more prolific than the memorial to Freddie Gray. A pain still fresh 1 year later, a wound these men know has not healed. Walking past the face of struggle, determined to help this community grow from it.
We're going to do our best this year to make sure it don't mean the same thing as it did last year. We're going to give it a different face, a different meaning.
You know, we hope something like that works.
Yeah.
You know, while some of the chapters have had issues in the past, on the whole, officials say that the program has proven successful.
All right, we'll take a look at 2015 right now. 4 sites mediated 700 conflicts, and nearly 80% of those were deemed likely or very likely to have resulted in a shooting.